What is a good video game? Is it telling a good story? Is it having great graphics and a killer soundtrack? Is it delivering an artwork that transcends any other available medium? Or is it just being fun? I think games can be considered good for many different reasons, depending on the game in question. However, a lot of modern games that are widely considered masterpieces are games that are heavy on narrative and cinematic execution. Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, The Last of Us. Many of these games have conventional video game qualities, like compelling and satisfying mechanics and gameplay, but they stand out and are remembered because of their characters and their storylines. The video game component of the game, as in the interactivity, the rule sets, the player agency, the whole reason you play a video game and not watch a movie instead, are not the sole reason the game is considered a masterpiece level of game. This is not a problem, of course. If you got emotionally invested in these games thanks to the powerful narrative, then that is amazing. But it's an interesting observation to consider. Today, I want to step away from the great stories and narratives, the bombastic cutscenes and the photorealistic graphics, and talk about a game that is amazing for the simple fact that it's just fun to the core. Earth Defense Force. But which one? The answer to that is always the latest one. There is little reason to go back to earlier installments, as the games always run on the same engine and just add more content atop of existing content. And the latest installment, as of making this video, is EDF 6. It's so good that it even has EDF 7, 8 and 9 in it. If you know, you know. So what makes EDF 6 so great? Let's begin what EDF is all about. It's a co-op arcade shooter. You play through hundreds of missions where you eliminate and slaughter hundreds if not thousands of aliens and monsters per mission. It's just a sensory overloading dopamine fest. In a good way. A very good way. There are 4 classes to pick from. Let's begin with the most conventional and work our way through them. Ranger. A basic soldier guy. On the surface. The Ranger controls and plays pretty much as you'd expect from a regular soldier type of character. His weaponry ranges from conventional firearms like machine guns, rifles, grenades, to really wacky military fiction like miniature missile launch silos that he carries around like a massive gun, extreme explosives, batshit crazy vehicles, and so forth. The Ranger is simultaneously the most conventional and beginner-friendly class, but also the most heavy and most difficult to perform really well with. Because of the Ranger's limited mobility, you easily get overwhelmed by enemy hordes, unless you have reserved an inventory slot for a vehicle. These vehicles are not always reliable, however. Because of the Ranger's pretty unhinged arsenal of weaponry, it can usually be difficult to strike a good balance in your loadout, and as such, you often find yourself in missions where you excel at one particular thing but need to be carried in others, limiting your efficiency. I would still recommend this class as your go-to beginner class, but to play this class at the higher difficulty missions, you're gonna be required to step up your gameplay to pretty much god tier levels. Next, the Wing Diver. The Wing Diver is for some reason an all-female class that carries a jetpack and a wide arsenal of sci-fi weapons, and no clothes for some reason. They fire lasers and blasters, and all this whilst maintaining their jetpack energy. The Wing Divers are the definition of a glass cannon. They have extreme firepower and the best mobility and maneuverability out of all the classes. But as soon as they start receiving the slightest fire, they will fall very quickly. Balancing your weapon energy output and your jetpack energy output is therefore crucial, as you have to keep moving to stay alive. Wing Divers is a strong class that focuses on providing raw damage and good traversal options for the player. It's a lot of fun for most players. The next class is Air Raider. The Air Raider is the ultimate support class. If the Wing Diver was a glass cannon, then the Air Raider is a porcelain Death Star. You have very limited mobility on your own and will be reliant on vehicles to move around, and the vehicles will also provide you with armor and hit points. The Air Raider has a wide variety of vehicles, including tanks, ambulances, mechs, and Jaegers. The Air Raider can also summon support gadgets such as healing fields, decoys, turrets, stat, buffing fields, energy shields, etc. But what the Air Raider is most famously known for is their air raids. The Air Raider can summon planes that will absolutely destroy a massive area of their choice. This is of course a move that takes quite some time to recharge, but in a game such as EDF, it's a game changer that can pivot any mission from losing to winning in a single stroke. The Air Raider's main weakness is close quarters combat. As soon as enemies close in and you lack the resources to defend yourself, you are simply dead. As such, the Air Raider needs to focus on supporting their teammates, as they will be the only ones keeping you alive. And finally, we reach the Fencer. Now, how do you summarize the Fencer? It's basically a mobile tank compressed into one guy. Fencers specialize in arsenal maximization. The Fencer is the class that can equip the most weapons and equipment at the same time. It can even equip 2 of the same weapon, which is something the other classes cannot do. Now, depending how you would like to play your Fencer, you can make it extremely sluggish but tanky as all hell, or extremely mobile and more offensive focused, but less defended. Fencers can equip massive shields that negate damage coming at it from the front, but you can also mount boosters, allowing for quick bursts of speeds that allow you to travel long distances. Being precise on exactly where you land though is out of the question. The weapons fencers get to choose between ranges from massive cannons to missile launchers, battle axes and massive sci-fi katanas. Fencers are the most complicated class to play, but are extremely rewarding to master. There are only 4 different classes in this game, but all of them are iconic and worthwhile in their own right. You could definitely base a whole TV show on these guys. My personal passion with this game resides in the Fencer class, however. It's basically the only class that I play. It's just so satisfying to boost around and pile drive hordes of monsters with my jackhammer and my massive shotgun. And don't forget about the high altitude impact launcher, or the Bloodstorm. Beautiful. You can also collaborate with an Air Raider with some of your missile launchers. Some of them require the Air Raider to hijack them with a laser guide kit and control them to their targets. These weapons are usually extremely powerful, such as the Leviathan, as it's called. But as mentioned, these weapons require 2 players to work in tandem, but it's oh so much fun when you make it work. But what makes this game so great? Truly. In a way, it's a very bare-bones game. You only really have one mode, mission mode, and the maps are recycled, flat, and one-dimensional in their gameplay. But somehow, all of that doesn't matter. The only mode you have, the mission mode, is lengthy and can be replayed through several difficulties, offering different rewards per difficulty, making the game feel endless in a way. And the maps are interesting enough to serve as a backdrop for the core gameplay, and the gameplay is just amazing, as well as the progression, which is absolute perfection. Personally, I think that's all you need for a good game. Good gameplay and satisfying rewards to keep you going. And EDF has a lot of rewards. The monsters you will defeat in the game will drop one of 3 types of boxes: a red, a green, or a white one. The white one has a variation of a small and a large. The white box is simply a med kit and will recover your health points in the mission you are in. They are not part of the rewards I'm talking about. That's where the red and the green one comes in. The red boxes will permanently increase your max hit points at the end of each mission, so these are important to pick up. However, the most important box to pick up are the green boxes. They will give you a random new weapon to a random class at the end of each mission. The class you are playing right now will have a higher chance of getting one though. Sometimes you will receive a weapon you already have, but then there is a small chance that you will upgrade a parameter on said weapon. This promotes replaying and revisiting old missions to grind for weapon upgrades and weapon completion. Collecting red and green boxes in this game is a pleasure like no other, but the biggest pleasure is seeing all the new stuff pop up on your screen at the end of every mission. The best part is that every single reward you will receive will affect gameplay. There are no cosmetics, only weapons, vehicles and equipment, and max HP increase of course. Now, I am still an advocate for cosmetics in video games. I think they are fun and provide self-expression for the player, but gameplay affecting rewards will always triumph over styles and skins. Another aspect that I really love about Earth Defense Force is its sense of community. You can shout voice lines and sing and emote, and the community is really friendly and is all on board with the meme that is Earth Defense Force. Join a random lobby and start shouting EDF, EDF, and you're automatically respected and one of the crew. It's amazing. I think a sentence that really sums up Earth Defense Force is that it has a sharp focus on what is really important and ditches everything else for the sake of a fun gaming experience. Now, with all of that said, is EDF perfect? Of course not. The graphics are outdated and it has pretty much no art direction at all. The little story it has is hilariously bad. You will genuinely start laughing at some of these ridiculous voice lines and plot events. The music is mostly bland but has some bangers here and there. The game can feel jank and even buggy at times. But all of these critiques are kind of part of the charm. It's part of the identity of the game. With these developers, it's hard to tell what's deliberately made bad and what is accidentally made bad. But that's part of the fun. At the end of the day, Earth Defense Force is simply just fun. And I will always recommend this game to anyone who is just out for a solid, satisfying and entertaining gaming experience. Will it ever win any awards for Game of the Year? No, but who cares? This game is still the best game of all time anyways. Play it now. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.